What's up, everybody? You're watching the Political Vigilante. Guess what? My name is Graham Elwood. And I want to talk about this. The search for the missing $21 trillion. I got this wrong in an earlier video. I said 2.1 trillion. Nope, I was a decimal point off. It's $21 trillion. Comes up missing as the Pentagon misses its first audit in 71 years. In its 71-year history. It's difficult to tally the cost in civilian lives, mass destruction of an annual budget rapidly approaching the $1 trillion mark, and that's something that likely won't be analyzed in any audit the Pentagon conducts on itself. This is by Randy Nord of MintPress News. Lee Camp has also covered this on RT. Despite being legally required to conduct audits since the early 90s and holding a staggering $2 trillion in assets, the Pentagon held its first ever audit this week, which it failed. It failed its first ever audit. They've been supposed to have been having them for 20-some years. They haven't. They finally get around to having one. It takes 20 years to have an audit. I get it. Taxes are rough. Me too. I haven't gone over my own books in 20 years. Totally reasonable. According to the senior official, the results were so bad that the discrepancies could take years to resolve. The Department of Defense is handed hundreds of billions of dollars annually, most of which comes from taxpayers. What did Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez have to say about it? 21 trillion of Pentagon financial transactions could not be traced, documented, or explained. This is the direct quote from their own audit. Can't find it. Can't explain it. They have no idea. They don't know what they're doing over there. 21 trillion. Medicare for all costs. 32 billion. That's a mistake. Or actually 32 trillion, she writes. That means 66% of all Medicare could have been funded already by the Pentagon. And that's before our premiums. How are we going to pay for it? Right? There was that. How are we going to pay for it? We don't even know what we're paying for. Transactions between 98 and 2015 could not be traced or documented or explained. How are we going to pay for it? I don't know. Maybe don't lose $21 trillion. That's one way. Unreal. That's the total expense. That's what... It's unreal. 5 times more than what the entire federal government spends in a year. Our military budget's not out of control. We're just losing trillions of dollars. It's not a lot of money. A trillion here, a trillion there. You know what I mean? It's like you got 20, 30 bucks in your pocket and you spend $1 or $2 here parking and tipping a guy or whatever. You can't keep track of all that. Come on. This is then the Department of Defense, Shanahan. Then casually informed reporters that the notoriously bloated and unchecked Department of Defense had failed its first audit in the department's increasingly expansive 71 history. We failed the audit, but we never expected to pass it. So don't get so hard on us. We knew we were going to fail it. We don't care about taxpayer money at all. Don't care. We're not even going to pretend. We didn't ever expect to pass it. We were supposed to pass an audit? What are we, the Department of Defense? Just an endless stream of money. They don't even have to keep track of it. They don't have to keep the books on it. I mean, honestly, I think what we should do is start a GoFundMe to pay for QuickBooks. Like America should pay more out of our own pockets, because if we just get them QuickBooks, then they won't lose $21 trillion. Do you know what I mean? Just a GoFundMe for QuickBooks. We can't expect, they can't be expected to pass an audit. I mean, the military is not like a bunch of very precise people that have very specific jobs and people's lives are on the line. It's not like, you know. I mean, what's next? We're going to expect pilots to land safely all the time? Like, come on. It's like we're getting a little too uptight. So let's start a GoFundMe so the Pentagon can have QuickBooks. It's $30 a month. You know, it's like if you get the online version. So it's like $360 a year. I mean, we should all chip in. We can't expect them, though, to pass an audit. According to a statement from the Pentagon, the goal of the audit was to reinforce taxpayer confidence. Well, you failed. You really failed. And when you start with, we were never expecting to pass it. That doesn't, as a taxpayer, I don't have a lot of confidence in you. Department of Defense, Pentagon. I don't have any confidence in you at all. You can't manage. Their money is spent responsibly. According to figures, the Pew Research Center, about 18% of Americans trust that Washington does what is right all of the time. 18%. Well, it's not 15%. I mean, you can't expect us to pass an audit. Come on, man. What do you want me to do? You gave me a credit card. You told me, I mean, you know, you knew I was going to Vegas. I'm not the problem. You're going to give me all this money and I go to Vegas and then there's strip clubs and casinos. I mean, you're expecting me to, like, you shouldn't have given me the money. You knew I was going to Vegas. I mean, what am I going to go? I'm going to walk by a blackjack table. You give me a bunch of money and then there's strippers. I mean, come on. What am I? God, you guys. And I just don't know why people don't trust us more. I don't get it. Over the past few months, it's come to light that the DoD has flushed $14,000 each on 3D printed Pentagon-shaped toilet seat lids and guzzled cups for $1,280 a piece. In the past, the DoD has also thrown $463 away on hammers, $117 on soap dish covers, and just under $1,000 for pliers. We need a strong military defense. I mean, look, if Chinese bars of soap or Russian bars of soap try to attack our bars of soap, how are we going to, what if there's soap mixing? I mean, let's be clear. What if ISIS infiltrates our freedom-loving soaps? So we need, I mean, I don't think $117 I think it's a small price to pay to protect our freedom-loving American soaps from filthy soap mixing from Russian soaps. We already know they hacked the election, so I mean, if next is our soap. Do you want to be cleaning yourself with Russian soap? $117 for a soap cover. I get it. I mean, I get it. Thank God. This makes me proud to be an American. I'm going to tell you that right now. Proud. Proud that we're 3D toilet seat covers for $14,000 to throw. Gee, I wonder if this would help anybody. Would this help? I wonder what America would look like with $21 trillion for infrastructure. High-speed rail, roads, schools, Green New Deal, solar panels on all government buildings, everybody gets college tuition. Right? Medicare for all. What do they look like? I think Ocasio-Cortez got her numbers wrong, because it's $32 billion for Medicare for all, not trillion. As a multi-trillion-dollar organization, the United States Department of Defense is currently waging war in 8 countries: Yemen, Somalia, Iraq, Libya, Syria, including those 5. It's difficult to tally the cost in civilian lives and mass destruction of an annual budget rapidly approaching the $1 trillion mark. That's what we spend every year. We're at $780 billion, I think, right now. And that's something that likely won't be analyzed in any audit the Pentagon conducts itself. These are where all the wars are happening, guys. I wonder if we spent a bunch of money to bring solar panels to Africa and the Middle East. Wind turbines. I wonder what would happen there. I wonder if we were helping out Mexico rather than buying all of their drug cartel drugs. I wonder what the world would look like. Huh. I wonder what this world would look like if we spent $21 trillion on peace. Not $14,000 toilet seat covers. If you work for the Department of Defense and you're okay with this, you're disgusting. You sicken me. Every time you walk by a homeless person in the States or you hear about it, a kid dying in Yemen from starvation, that's on you. That's on you. You in the defense contract industry, all you high-level generals and defense contractors, you generals that retire and then get seven-figure gigs with the defense industry, that's on you, man. There's high crime where you live, that's on you. Could be fixed. $21 trillion could fix a lot of problems. Imagine if we went to every poor, crime-ridden neighborhood and said, okay, everyone who graduates high school gets free college. Everybody gets free college. Gee, I wonder how many kids would suddenly buckle down and start getting grades and graduate from high school to go to college rather than join a life of crime. I wonder how many. If we weren't bombing all of these countries, I wonder how many refugees and terrorists we would not be creating. Like Syria, 600,000 dead, 14,000 refugees. We created that. It wasn't some uprising and everyone's rose up against Assad. The CIA went in there back in 2010. Folks, join me on the Progressive Comedy Tour with Ron Placone. We are coming to Florida in a couple of weeks, January 9th. Gainesville, the 10th, Coral Gables, the 11th, Orlando, the 12th, Jacksonville. Get your tickets at grahamelwood.com. Watch the ads all the way through at the beginning. When you press skip ad, I don't get paid. Come out to a live show. We're doing shows all the way through into June. All right, I'm going to Chicago to headline in February. All my Salt Lake City, Lafayette, Indiana, New Orleans, Pensacola, Boise, Texas, DC. We're adding more dates every day. Go to grahamelwood.com. Thanks for watching.